All right, so we need to talk about this episode of The Boys. Because episode 5? Yeah, this one was absolute chaos in the best and most unhinged way possible. From shocking deaths to one of the wildest cameos the show has ever done, to straight-up disturbing humour that only the boys can pull off. This episode really felt like a turning point. First off, this episode is called One Shots, and that title actually works on multiple levels. You've got different POV storytelling from multiple characters, a ton of one-off appearances. Yeah, we'll get to that. And honestly, it feels like a setup for the endgame. Because at this point, nobody feels safe anymore. The supernatural reunion. Yes, that happened. Let's just get this out of the way. The biggest headline from this episode is the reunion of supernatural actors, including Jared Padalecki and Misha Collins, alongside Jensen Ackles. And waggy! They really said, what's the most ridiculous, brutal, and chaotic way we can bring them back? Because that entire sequence was hilarious, insane, and completely unhinged. It's basically a parody of Hollywood itself. Actors being selfish, backstabbing, and ridiculous. And then they all die. Violently, fast, and in the most the boys' way imaginable. It's funny, shocking, and honestly kind of genius. Firecracker's story, the darkest moment. Now let's talk about what I think is the most important storyline of the episode, Firecracker. This is where things stop being funny and get seriously dark. We finally see her past, her faith, and how conflicted she actually is. She grew up religious. She genuinely believed in something. And now she's forced to pretend that Homelander is basically God. That internal conflict is what makes her story hit so hard. The breaking point. The moment she betrays her old pastor. That's it. That's the moment where she completely sells her soul. You can literally see it on her face. And the show does something really interesting here. It makes you understand her, but still not forgive her. Her death scene. And then comes her death. Homelander kills her in one of the most ironic ways possible. He impales her on an eagle statue. Think about that. The eagle represents freedom, America, everything she claimed to stand for. And she dies on it. It's brutal. It's symbolic. And it's very The Boys. Homelander getting worse. Speaking of Homelander, he's evolving. And not in a good way. At this point, he doesn't just want power, he wants worship. He wants to be declared God. And the scary part, people are actually going along with it. What makes him dangerous now? What makes Homelander terrifying in this episode isn't just his strength. It's his emotional instability. He craves approval, hates feeling weak, reacts violently to even small doubts. And Firecracker's hesitation? That was enough. Sister Sage's master plan. Now this might be the most insane reveal in the episode. Sister Sage finally lays out her real plan. And it's not just about control. It's about destruction. Her goal: start a full-scale war between humans and soups. Basically, let the entire world burn. Why? Because she hates society. She just wants to be left alone. The twist behind her motivation. And here's the wild part. She doesn't even care who wins. She just wants silence, isolation, and control over her own space. It's almost philosophical in a twisted way, but also completely psychotic. The Boys, a quiet but important arc. Amid all the chaos, we get smaller moments with the main crew. And these are actually really important, especially Butcher, Huey, Mother's Milk, Butcher's humanity. Through small moments, especially with Terra, we're reminded Butcher isn't completely gone. There's still something human in him, and the show keeps teasing that line. Will he go full monster or hold on to what's left of himself? The V1 virus dilemma. The big conflict right now is the V1 virus. Should they destroy it or use it? Butcher wants destruction. Huey wants to save people. This is setting up a huge moral clash. Black Noir's side story. Then there's Black Noir 2, which is honestly one of the strangest subplots. He's acting in a play, trying to live a normal life and dealing with his own identity. It's weird, but it fits the tone of the episode, and it also sets up future conflict with the Deep. The tone of the episode. This episode is a perfect example of what makes The Boys unique. It constantly shifts between dark comedy, brutal violence, emotional storytelling, sometimes within the same scene. And somehow, it works. Who has plot armor? At this point in the season, it really feels like anyone can die. But there are a few exceptions. Characters like Ryan, maybe Butcher, feel like they still have some protection. Everyone else? Fair game! What happens next? If this episode is any indication, episodes 6 and beyond are going to get even crazier. We're likely heading toward major character deaths, full-scale conflict, and possibly the collapse of everything. Final thoughts. So overall, this episode was chaotic, hilarious, disturbing, and incredibly important for the story. It pushed multiple arcs forward and raised the stakes in a big way. And that supernatural reunion, completely insane, but unforgettable. If I had to rate this episode, 8.5, not perfect, but bold, creative, and absolutely wild. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Did you like the cameos? Were you shocked by Firecracker's death? And who do you think is next? Because at this point, nobody feels safe.